mom, let me see you get down. Baby mama, this your song. Been pregnant for way too long. Let's tell the DJ turn it off, turn it off.
She a baby mama. She gon' do that, baby mama.
Work.
She gon' put it on you. She gon' do.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I've been missing in action for quite some time now. And if you are wondering, it is true. We are expecting our second baby. I am 18 weeks along now, so I'm in my second trimester. I wanted to come on here and do a recap of my first trimester with having type 1 diabetes. I made quite some notes throughout my entire pregnancy from the start, since I found out pretty much. So and I wanted to come on here and share that with you guys. My goal was to make a first trimester video, a second trimester video, third trimester video, and then I was thinking about maybe doing a labor video. We'll see how things go with my son. Everything kind of was a little bit crazy with how he came into the world, so I'm hoping it's not like that and I'm able to at least get some video footage this time around, but I won't know until we get to that point. But now, since I am this far along in my pregnancy and still haven't even made my first trimester video, I'm planning on making this one a first trimester intro to second trimester, and then my next one will be the rest of the second trimester and my third trimester video. So let's jump right into it. So I found out I was pregnant on November 1st. I expected it actually earlier on. I ended up taking a test probably like a week before the November 1st, and it came back negative, so then I just left it. I was like, okay, maybe I'm not, and then I kind of just waited for my period to come. And then I think it was the day of I was supposed to get my period, I just still did not feel right, so I went and took a test, and sure enough, came back positive. In that time as well, I was dealing with lots of high blood sugars, and they were just like super hard to control. I had a hard time getting them down. I ended up having to go into the hospital because I was getting a little bit nervous with how I wasn't able to bring them down, and I was just very worried about baby at that time, seeing as the first trimester is very crucial to have your blood sugars in target, seeing as the baby is growing all of its organs and all of its important features at that time. So I was a little bit worried. Went to the hospital, and then like 2 days later I ended up getting into my clinic that I was in with my son. It's called the Pregnancy and Diabetes Clinic here where I'm from, and they ended up contacting me, and we were able to change all my pump settings and get that under control, which was awesome because it was getting a little worrisome for me. As I've learned with like my last pregnancy and now even starting with this one, that the first trimester is always kind of like higher, lower blood sugars. It's kind of like a mix, but I find it's more higher, and you're just trying to find that control with all the new hormones adding in. Second trimester is like pretty much your normal, and if not, you're taking less insulin than what you were needing. And the third trimester is usually like a wild ride where you're just like 3 times the doses that you would normally need when you aren't pregnant. It was, for my son, I was constantly changing my pod probably every day and a half, 2 days. It was getting ridiculous. Being type 1 diabetic, you still get like your normal pregnancy symptoms. So my first trimester, I was very nauseous. I am thankful though, I did not puke once throughout my first trimester and still throughout my pregnancy. I am pretty proud of that. I also was belching, burping a lot, which was like, I think one of my first signs that I knew I was pregnant this time around, because I was the same way with my son. And I was also just very weak and tired. I constantly wanted to sleep. I had no energy, literally. I told everyone I was like 10% energy the entire first trimester. It was terrible. I would wake up, go and I'd sit on the couch, and then I would end my day there pretty much. My poor son, he wanted to play, and I'd do my best to get up off the couch. I'd play with him, and then I'd be like, okay, mommy needs a break now. When you're a type 1 diabetic, it's crucial to have, or at least most doctors and most clinics say it's crucial to have a decent A1C. My pregnancy with my son, I think my A1C was in the 7s. I can't quite remember though. But this time it was 6.8 to start, and I'm now down to a 6.2. So pregnancy for that matter is great, because I feel like your control of your blood sugars is a lot better than it would normally be, because you're a lot more stressed and you're working way harder on keeping those blood sugars good. By 8 weeks in my pregnancy, I made notes that I was starting to get some lows. So that was just from playing around with my settings and trying to find that proper setting that it was supposed to be at, and just with all the hormones playing a part. And by 9 weeks, I made notes that my blood sugars were starting to drop and I was starting not to need as much insulin anymore. I was needing at the beginning. So I was constantly having more lows, and then I was still nauseous with no energy, peeing a lot, of course, because that's fun of the first trimester. By 12 weeks, my A1C was 6.4, and my blood sugars were starting to stay in target with not too many lows anymore. All the symptoms were kind of starting to fade, so that was nice. My energy was starting to come back, and then from the beginning of my pregnancy till I'm 26 weeks, I go and I see my doctors every 4 weeks, so once a month. And then after 26 weeks till like about 32 weeks or 30 weeks, I believe it is, I see my doctors every 2 weeks. And then at 32 weeks or 30 weeks, whatever it is, then I start seeing my doctors every week. I think it's 32 weeks. 30 weeks sounds pretty early. And then my doctors include, I have an endocrinologist, I have diabetic nurse educators, and then I have my obstetrician, and then I also see another doctor that just takes my weight, takes my blood pressure, just makes sure everything is good, hands me all my paperwork of all the blood work I need to get done, because monthly I'm getting an A1C done. So there's all that fun stuff that comes with type 1 diabetes in pregnancy. Moving into my second trimester though, my blood sugars are back to normal now. I'm not needing as much insulin like I was saying. I no longer feel nauseous. I get the odd dizziness and lightheadedness. That's about it. And then now I'm just starting to grow my belly, as well as I am feeling baby kick and able to see baby kick now. So that's super exciting. I actually started being able to feel it earlier this time around than I did with my son. With my son, I started feeling him move around the end of 16 weeks, beginning of 17 weeks. This time was the beginning of 16 weeks I started feeling. And then by 17 and a half weeks, I was feeling, actually seeing the kicks. And then with my son, it was 18 and a half weeks. I didn't actually start seeing kicks till then. With the second trimester, there's not really much to report on that other than starting to feel normal again, and just minus growing the belly, feeling movements inside my belly, which is just amazing. Otherwise, my blood sugars are great. My A1C is getting great. I have my next appointment next week, Friday, so I should be hopefully finding out the gender of the baby, which will be exciting, as my son has been waiting to know, and so we can finally say baby sister or baby brother rather than baby sibling or whatever. So that's going to be exciting. I'll also be finding out my A1C, so yeah. I also wanted to add in that I started my own Facebook group for type 1 diabetics. I named it Type 1 Diabetes Support and Understanding. It's on Facebook, and currently I only have one other person other than myself in my group, so please go and join my group and let's be friends. As a kid growing up, I didn't have very many diabetic friends, plus I suffered from anxiety and homesickness, so I never actually went to any of the diabetes camps in my area, so that kind of sucked. I wish I was able to do that, but by the time I grew out of my homesickness and kind of started getting better with my anxiety, it was too late for that. Definitely go join my group and become a member and make friends, ask questions, and so on. It is Type 1 Diabetes Support and Understanding on Facebook. But I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about first trimester, maybe that I didn't cover, feel free to comment down below, send me a message, and I am more than happy to answer. Thanks for watching. Also, don't forget to subscribe and follow along with my pregnancy journey, as well as stay tuned for my next video to find out baby's gender.